Hello, Lee Carrington here, Family Budget Fisherman. Thank you for tuning in to this another special episode on this channel. As you read in the thumbnail and in the description below, we're talking about fishing reels. Yes, we're going to talk about the inexpensive stuff. We're going to talk about the very expensive stuff and what you need to do in order to get the best fishing reel, spinning or bait cast, the best fishing reel for the least amount of money. Let's get started. All right, thank you for tuning in. First of all, let me say this to you. This channel has always focused on rods as a premier. And the main reason is because fishing rods go through the most regular iteration in order to do for the fisherman to become a better fisherman. Yes, reels do go through iterations, but not as regularly as the rods do. And it's simply because of this natural fact. If you don't have a fishing rod, you're not really fishing. Now, I understand some people may throw throw a line out in the water and reel it in like this. But let's just be honest. You're not really fishing unless you have a rod. You can have a rod with no reel. You can have a rod without the best equipment, best fishing line, or even the best lure. But if you don't have a fishing rod or pole, you're not really fishing. And so that's the reason why this channel has always focused on, as the lion's share of videos um, reflect, that the focus here is on fishing rods. But now I'm going to have to, on a more regular basis, deal with this issue of fishing reels, particularly at the high end level, because so much goes on in the industry for fishing reels that's much more subtle than people like to discuss. So, for example, in a previous video, I mentioned that I purchased this Tatula MQLT 2500. Now, beautiful reel, and I said I was going to go into more detail with regard to the specs of this. This is a Tatula MQLT 2500D XH, and it is 6.2 to 1 in the gear ratio. It only weighs 6.7 ounces. The drag on max on here is 22 pounds, which is really nice, and it has 8 ball bearings. Okay, it has some technology that's been passed down to it from the most premier reel in the Daiwa arsenal, and that is the Daiwa Exist. Let me say it's probably the most expensive reel you could buy that's in regular production. You may have some specialty reels here and there, maybe some custom here and there. But in terms of reels, that's both spinning and in baitcast. The Daiwa Exist is like it is top shelf. It is the most expensive reel. Now, much of their technology, the greatest percentage of their technology, was passed down to the Tatula. It bypassed the ballistic, the MG, the BG, down to the Tatula, which, because of that technological investment in the Tatula, makes it a more premier reel than even the Shimano Vanford, which is $50 more expensive than this Tatula. So take that one to the bank, right? You don't have a whole lot of Stella, which is Shimano's premier reel. You don't have a lot of Stella technology in the Vanford. You got some great technology, but it's not all Stella technology. Whereas on the Daiwa side, they said, hey, this stuff from the Exist, we could pass it on down. So it turns out to be a fantastic reel. So much so that I said in a previous video, I replaced the Shimano Vanford on this rod, which is my St. Croix Legend Extreme, and put it on here, as you can see. I've already caught fish on it. Check out you know what? I'm just going to post it again. This fish that I caught the morning that I went fishing with it. I wanted to get some line twist out because I noticed when I put line on it, I got some line twist in it. So I cast out with that crappie jig, and that's what I got, a nice little 1.5 pound spotted bass. So getting back to the point, so that's the main reason why we want to have this discussion, is because while I can go out and I can buy $900 reels, because the investments are always downward, meaning the company wants to continue to make money, and there's not enough of a market that could support the company with $900 reels, they pass them down to their more competitively priced, commercially available $200 reels, where I would buy 3 or 4 of those rather than to buy one exist in this particular case. And that bodes well for the bait casters as well. Make sure that you know that the technology that you're getting from your bait caster is passed down from the most expensive or the premier reel in their lineup down to the model that you're preferring. Okay, that's one way to make sure you're getting some of the best quality. Don't just buy the latest and greatest, because the Pro Scion came out before the Tatula. The Ballistic came out before the Tatula, but the Tatula got the best gifts from the most expensive rod reel in their arsenal. So that comes down to just being patient. And then of course I told you that although I paid the full $200, I got $50 in buyback bucks that I can go and make a purchase. So effectively, it's only $150. How about that? So so there's that. Here's another thing. Let me deal with this here. Okay. You saw in a previous video why I made a purchase of these lures. Okay. This is an $80 reel in here. This is a $60 reel in here. Do these reels, because they are in here, are they inferior to, say, this $70 reel? This is an $80 reel. This is a $70 reel. Is this reel inferior to this reel because this reel is not in a box, it's in plastic? By no means. Okay. When this reel was selling, by the way, there it is. It's a Fluger. This is, I think, is a discontinued model now, but this was a Fluger Summit XT, and when it was for sale at Bass Pro Shops, it was $70 full retail, where this is $80 full retail at Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, and so only thing I'm saying is that you need to know that companies make a decision as to whether an item is in plastic or in a box. This is not a manufacturer specific request. I mean, imposition. So there is that. Some of these are in boxes, for example, at other companies, and some of these were in plastic when it was available. I have seen some Abu Garcias. This is now about $110 reel. When it was starting out, it was only $100. That are in plastic and not in these boxes. Okay, this right here is a $40 Caton's reel. And I think this is a Cast King brand, if I remember correctly. Um, Very high end reel. You can check some of my archives to see more about this reel. $40, but it was in a box. Okay, I'm showing you all of this so that you can see that quality for a reel is about as universal as they come. Here is what you're looking for when you're purchasing a reel. Number one, drag. Number two, durability. Okay. And in number three, you have to um, take a look at what you're fishing for so that you can have longevity. So the third one is longevity. And the reason why I say it in that order is because some of these, for example, this Tatula here, both the previous model and the current model, have 22-pound drag. Well, 22-pound drag pretty much means that you can probably go up to maybe a 60-pound fish, and your drag system at 22 pounds is going to handle it. You have to know how to adjust your drag when you get beyond the 22-pound direct. But having said that, yeah, you could put on 60-pound test braid on these reels, and you can bring in a 60, 70-pound fish, because the drag system is about wearing down the fish. It's not about weight for weight or resistance. It's about wearing down the fish. And as you all know, it doesn't, as big as people get to be, it doesn't take the same amount of weight as an individual is to wear them out. Okay, so that's what we have to focus on. So your drag is the most important aspect of your reel. Drag. The second thing is durable. I can pull in a 60-pound fish, but if my reel is flexing, then I'm going to have trouble. If you're bluegill fishing, this is not something of your concern, because there's no bluegill on earth that's going to cause a reel of any quality to flex. Certainly nothing that's on this table. It's when you get into your 10-pound, 15-pound, 20-pound fish, or if you're in the fish, even if you're in a river with a 5 to 7 pound fish, because because of the current, the heavy current of a river, that may cause you to have some challenges. So when you're looking for a reel, you want to make sure that you got some good quality. Now, mind you, where is that quality? If you don't know the difference between the metals or the composites, how do you know that you're getting a good reel? Here it is. In this day and age, any reel, and I repeat, any reel between $75 full retail and $150 full retail will meet that category. You can catch a fish and have durability with that reel, any spinning reel in particular, any baitcast reel in particular at $100 to $150. There's a little bit more for bait casters, and I'll tell you why in a moment. For spinning, guaranteed anything full retail is $75 and up to $150. Sweet spot. Everything else is about preference over $150. And the same thing goes for bait casters. Okay. And that way you know that there's enough company investment in the material of the reel, the drag system, so that you have good drag, durability, and longevity. Now, longevity is always dependent upon how often you fish. If you only fish once a month, longevity for you is a decade. You know, you may have to clean your reel more often because of the dust that collects into it than if you're fishing more often. The other side of that is if you're fishing 200 days a year, then yeah, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. Now you have the option of spending more money on a reel that will give you the quality of fishing experience that you like. Or what you do is you buy several of those in that $150 range and rotate out and rotate out. It's like anything else. The more often you use something, the more it gets used. And every time you use something, I don't care what it is, every time you use something, it loses quality. And I'm pausing on purpose. It's like clothes and shoes and every other durable good. It's very, very incremental, so you won't notice it. But a rod after 10 years, after 15 years, does not perform the same way it did when you first got it. That goes for the reel and anything else. Your clothes, your shoes, anything that is made by human hands has a depreciation or degradation factor into it. So yes, you can buy, but I would prefer that you get, you know, a multiple number of $100 reels than to get one $400 reel. So you can rotate out and you can slow down the degradation. Because again, unless you're in a tournament, and there are different standards for if you're in a tournament. If you're in a tournament where it's a non-sponsorship tournament, meaning you're not in a professional circuit or in a regional circuit where you have to come in with sponsors. Let's say you're at a club tournament and you do club tournaments on a regular basis, or you do regional or state tournaments, but you don't have to have a sponsorship, like the Future Pro Tour that's here in California, or any of the others. Just pick one in your region of the country, in any or in the world for some of you. So what my point to you is, you can pick reels that'll rotate out. There's a lot of people like Mikey Balls, who's got a fantastic YouTube channel. He uses an SLX, which is $100 baitcaster. Okay, he does, and just to show you how far they go. I mean, you've got professional, those in the professional pro tour circuit who are using ugly sticks. Okay, so so I say all that to say those are your sweet spots. Okay, you do not need to go any further. Now, here is the family budget fisherman goal: is to find a $250, $300 reel that you can get between $75 and $150. Now that's possible, and that's the reason for this channel, is to show you how you can get in that price point. Those I have shown you in the past how I've gotten these Vanfords $434. Okay, these are $250 reels. Okay, certainly it's within the $75 to $150 price point. And here's another thing, and this is why I even with, here we go here. I've got a Legend Extreme. I've got I've got an NRX Plus, and each one of them has $200 plus reels. This one has a $250 plus reel, which makes this a, if you pay in full price, an $875 combo. This has a $200 brand new $200 reel, $875 or $870 rod. A $670 rod. So then you therein again is another $870 combo. So I'm saying you can do a lot of great things. For the record, and I think I said this in the previous video, Jacob Wheeler won $100,000 with that reel right there. He used the 2500 series. So I want for you to know that it is entirely possible for you to be effective in that range when it comes to reels. You do not have to spend that kind of money. You do not need an Exist. You do not need a Stella. Let me say this: if you want, buy one. If you want to buy a Steve's, buy one. I do plan to buy one of those eventually. I haven't found a good enough deal to do so. But I want for this to be a guide for you that you can buy the Carbon Light 2.0 limited edition. You can buy a Fluger. You can buy a Daiwa. You can have a Garcia, Abu Garcia reel. This is the Revo X version. And you can have a fantastic time fishing. I think these were $100. I think I got these for as little as $45 just by good planning. You all know how much just recently I got these for as little as $32. And then I think they've upgraded these now, but these $60 ones, I was regularly getting them in this package, $20, and I use these on quite a regular basis, especially if I have young people who I outfit them up. I hope what I have shared here with you gives you a little bit more to look at. You don't have to worry about gear ratio as much, unless you get down below 5:2 to 1. You want to stay above 5:2 to 1. I like 6:2 to 1, and there are some 7:1 to 1 to 1s, which are about about $200 reels from Abu Garcia. But you don't have to worry about that too much. You don't have to worry about how much line a reel takes in. Anything above 28 inches and you're doing great on a spinning reel. I prefer the ones that do 36, 37, 38 inches, but you don't have to, because like I said, in terms of the quality, you have the sweet spot. If you're between $75 and $150, you can literally close your eyes, grab a reel, and that reel will work for you on rods that are $300, $400, $500. It will work. It will work. I promise you. So please, 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 don't do anything. I know I'm revealing trade secrets here, but don't do anything to break your family's budget trying to buy all this expensive equipment. Stay within your family's budget, but by every legal and ethical means, get out there and break your personal best. Talk to me about those in the comments as well. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Be blessed.